Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, three-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast with Chris, Dan, Bobby, and Tony, the Uncle Puckers. Let's go Devils!
Well, we're bones.
Yep. So the game's not even over. Devils,
Nope.
Edmonton. Bob and I decided we're not going to wait until the end of this shit show to come on and talk to our fans, our friends, I mean. And so here we are, the Uncle Puckers, Bob and Chris tonight. No one else could stomach coming on the show because to do that, you might have actually had to sit through this putrid display of fucking hockey that we are witnessing as we speak, which every time every time I think they're at rock bottom, they find a new rock bottom.
I walked the dog.
You want to tell that story, Bob?
I walked the dog. It was 3-2. It was intermission. Had a couple things to do. Took the dog out. Walking around the corner of my house, so I had the TV on the basement. So, I could see through the basement window. I'm like, this is kind of nice. I can watch the game. I see McDavid score. I'm like, all right, that sucks, but, still tied. Lots of game left. Like, I walked to my door, took the collar off the dog, grabbed my drink, came down. I said, how is that 5? I just saw the goal. Something's wrong. It's wrong.
No.
It's not possible. It's very possible.
I mean, first of all, they didn't show up start this game. Akira Schmid looked like he wasn't even planning on playing tonight. I don't know what the hell's wrong with him right now, but, I mean, this goaltending duo is something's got to change. The way this team started this game, like you are right now, you are not in a playoff spot. Oh, wait, real quick. Let me just news flash, hot take. The Devils are not going to the playoffs. I'm sorry. Devil fans, you might look at the standings and say, hey, if we get hot, if we do this, if we do that, they are not going to the playoffs. And they will end up being one of the biggest disappointments of the 2023-24 season because you cannot play that god-awful at home. This is your chance, right? You're looking up at the standings. You know that you can't depend on Washington and Philadelphia and every other team above you. You can't bank on them playing poorly. You have to worry about yourself. You are at a 5-game homestand right before the holidays, yes. All right? Every team in the league, all 32 of them would say, yeah, give us the 5-game.
Absolutely.
Right before the holidays, we get a break. We're home with our families, with our friends for 2 solid weeks. Let's give me that. And then they come out and they play the last 3 fucking games this way in your own barn. Like, we are not a good hockey team. Just that simple. We're not a good hockey team.
We are not a good hockey team as presently constructed. No. Well, it's a myriad of things we've been talking about all year, from the defense on out, coaching, the lines, everything, the chemistry. We are not a good team right now. And there are a lot of people that, defend what they're doing. And I want everyone to know we are super fans too. We want to be as positive as possible. And I think we've said a couple times, right? We'll be the place you can come to, take you back off the bridge. Yeah. Right. But even we're getting just a little tired of this. If you can't legitimately look at this team and say right now they're not a very good team, then you're probably mistaken. It doesn't mean that they can't figure it out and go on a run. It's certainly within their grasp. But there's no signs pointing to that yet. Because when they do have a couple good efforts, they turn around with bad efforts or even a period. They won the later half of the first period. That went into the second period. They played a very good second period. I don't understand the dog shit that comes out in the third.
This ill-preparedness, this, all of a sudden letting 3 goals in a minute and a half. Okay, it's Edmonton. I get that. They can score at will. But this isn't the first time we've done this. So we do it to teams. We did it to Detroit. We did it to Philly. We did it to the Rangers. Like, we have this uncanny ability to just have it all fall apart. When it does, it's god-awful because there's nobody in that locker room to pull them out of a funk when things start to go bad. So, yeah, I'm questioning. This is the whole thing. Like, we spend so much time on this show praising this team when they're doing well, talking truthfully about this team when they're doing poorly, and the things that maybe we think they should do or changes that need to be made. I am so disgusted with this team right now that I just want fucking changes made, because the fact is, you're a soft team. You're a weak team. You get pushed around. And when it happens, you fall apart. All teams have to do is get under Jack's skin to get the whole team to friggin' fall apart. Lindy Ruff is doing a terrible job managing this team and everything that's going on with it. I'm sorry. I get it. He's one of the greatest coaches the NHL has ever had, but this team is not responding to whatever it is he's doing. It's painfully obvious during his 5-game homestand. And right now, you have got to do something. So this conversation right now, I don't even want to talk about how bad the team is or this is to Tom Fitzgerald now. Like, dude, do something, because it is spiraling out of control.
It is. And you look at those goals and the three. 9 times out of 10, what does a coach say and do right after a goal is scored?
What does a coach do or say right after a goal is scored? Don't give up one on the next shift.
They're going to put out a particular line.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's really good at say, hey, we're just going to play hard-nosed game. Just keep the puck out of the net again for this shift.
That's one shift. Don't let them score.
Didn't happen. Yeah. No. So that, and whoever's their roles, like, I just don't understand. They know that. They know how important it is. You just give up the tying goal. That next shift it's crucial. This is where I'm just so dumbfounded. I just don't understand how they're coming out. I just don't understand what's missing.
There was nobody, I thought, in the first period and the third period. And what's the score now? Still 6-3?
Yeah, 6-3.
All right. So there was nobody in the first and third period, in my opinion, that wore a red sweater that played good. And that's the problem I have. I get it that guys aren't going to have good games, but when the whole fucking team just falls apart, like, what's wrong with that? What's the problem there? Right. Is it the leadership, in the locker room? Is it the leadership behind the bench? I don't know what it is, but there's definitely something broken with this team, and it's fucking. I don't know how you fix it right now if you don't. How you just said it, presently constructed. This is what we're going to get unless some change is made. Get in touch with Anaheim. Get a goalie in here, because we don't have one. We don't have a goalie. We don't even have one goalie.
Right. And let's be clear. The changes are not going to be, Timo Meier finds his game, Mercer finds his game, Palat. We're not talking offense here.
No.
So the change has to be something more dynamic. Again, whether it's a trade that might not be popular, whether it's getting kind of key pieces that, you don't need an all-star in every line. I don't know. But the chemistry's not working.
We don't have one stay-at-home defenseman. Every single, and guys that we thought were stay-at-home defensemen, like more so Marino last year, more so Siegenthaler, they are pressing on offense every single chance they get. And it doesn't matter if we have a lead or we're playing from behind and we just give up odd-man rushes. We've done a lot better, like the last, I'll say, other than these last 3 games, probably the last 8 games before, I thought we did a much better job. But this is the shit we did back when we were pulling our hair out because this team couldn't get on track. Everyone, like, dude, we don't need goals from Siegenthaler. We don't need goals from McLeod. I know that sometimes the top 6 aren't producing, but if everyone does their job and stays in their position and just knows their role, those guys will be able to generate the offense. And you chip in when you can. You don't make every fucking shift a highlight reel shift. Back up. Play defense. I noticed tonight, even though Nemec and Hughes both made glaring fucking mistakes, Luke Hughes I'm talking about tonight, but the whole team did. But positionally, they were so much better positioned than our veterans. Yeah. Like, Marino has completely lost his game. So I'm curious, how much of Marino's game last year was predicated on playing with Ryan Graves? Because he's not showing shit right now. Yeah. So, how much of that? I think a lot of that was predicated on having such a good, solid defenseman on the other side of him. And
Yeah,
and
100%. I mean,
I feel like
joke.
guys are just trying way too hard. They're constantly out of position. And like I said, when things go bad, and guys that we need to show up disappear, and that's not a team that's going to make any kind of playoff run.
Yeah.
Where was Nico Heischer tonight? Where was Jesper Bratt? Where was Jack Hughes tonight? I know we never ever shit on Jack, but like, dude, the whole team played like shit. And sorry, Jack, you're the superstar on the team, and you cost us a point in the last game. And you're playing against Connor McDavid. If you want to be in that conversation, then you got to show up in games like this. I'm not saying the Devils have to beat Edmonton every time they play, but you got to make it competitive. This is twice in 1 week that they've put 12 goals, 12 fucking goals. You allowed Edmonton to score in 2 games on you.
Yeah. Again, we're not looking at any one particular person like Jack is saying, hey, you got to score a hat trick in this game, but you got to drive the play like you normally do. You can't pick this game to
disappear
a little bit. And, oh man, we joke a lot about, my affinity for Graves. Right. And I made a comment last year about how I really didn't want to lose him because of some of the plays he makes. I really felt like on every shift he did something super solid that was almost unnoticed. And maybe that is just a huge part of it, but that's not all of it. Of course, that's just one dimension. I don't know. I really don't know, dude. Like this is
I know there was no chance that we can keep Severson. I understood that one. He deserved to go and get paid. And I was never a huge Severson pass, but I'll tell you right now, I can count on one hand how many stretch passes we had out of the neutral zone this season as compared to him constantly. Nobody on this team threw a nicer stretch pass than Damon Severson to get the offense going.
Our newer young guys are more skating into the zone, right? Yeah.
Yep. And we can't even clear our own zone. We can't even get out of our own offense.
Now Miller does pretty good there, but we haven't seen enough of him. Now
isn't his wife having a baby?
Yeah, they're having a baby. Good for them. That's great. It might factor into me getting a goal this week. But we do seem to be a different team with Miller in there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Brendan Smith is terrible. He's just terrible. He's just a mistake machine. And, we talked about it. Do the negatives outweigh the positives or vice versa? No, the negatives don't the positives don't outweigh the negatives. It's definitely a net negative deal when it comes to Brendan Smith. He hurts his team more than he helps.
Admiral job at forward. I don't think we were joking when we said he's a better forward than defenseman. He did help the team in that role. He's one of the big problems here with the difficulty the Devils are having. If we had an upgrade there, it would be huge. Preferably he's the 7th guy, really.
And you know what I didn't understand tonight? I saw this. I don't know if you saw this, but who was the goalie for Edmonton? I don't even know his name. I don't even remember who the hell he was. Whoever he was,
I forgot.
Doesn't matter. He was not comfortable at all with long shots. We hit the post. We missed by very, very, for a few shots that didn't miss by much. And then Siegenthaler's blast went clean by him. And I was like, and I said it to my wife, I was like, we got to just start shooting from the distance, shoot from the point on this guy. Any chance you get, something goes through. And, no one else. Maybe that was just me. I felt like he was having a little bit of trouble there, but we weren't doing anything. We were just, I don't even know what to say. That third period, I guess it just stunned everybody to the point that they couldn't crawl back. But, dude, I'm sorry. This is the problem I have. You have the capability of roaring back from 3 goals down. They could, but there's no fight in them. They give up. They're soft. SAWFT, soft. They're soft.
Those stats they were putting out at the beginning of the game, giving up the first goal 22 times out of 9. That's
unacceptable.
It is definitely unacceptable for a team of this caliber with their aspirations. If you're talking 3-4 years ago, that team, you would expect that kind of performance.
If we played tonight's Devil team that we just put on that ice in our own building and played that terribly, and put them against any night of 2020 where we were 2021 where we were a complete and total shit show, I bet those 20 or 2021 teams beat us. It's possible. Those teams with nobody on them, they had Heischer, they had Bratt, they had Jack a rookie year, but he wasn't, jack that he is now. But
You know,
it's just bad. Like, this is supposed to be a team that seriously contended for a Stanley Cup, and they look like a joke. They're not just losing by a goal or tough overtime losses or, just missing that extra point. They're getting there. I mean, every team comes into our building and skates us into the ground. We're the fucking Devils. And they skate us into the ground. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, the lopsidedness is still a factor, and it's hard to overcome it. And sorry, Jack, I'm still going to talk about last year because that's when it started. We get all excited because we beat Boston 2-1 in overtime, which again was an excellent victory. No, not taking anything away from it. I love playing hockey like that, but then to turn around and lose 5-1 to the Ducks, 6-3 to the Sharks. Now, I didn't see, obviously, as I was walking the dog, exactly how all three of those goals unfolded. But I did notice earlier in the game, even though it's Edmonton Oilers who can score with anybody, I was noticing that their goals were really tied into the net, kind of dirty. It's like, yeah, you can learn a thing or two from that. Now, Timo's goal was like that for the most part. Merce had a beautiful snipe. Not gonna say don't do that. But as I'm watching that team, and they're rounding back into form, where everyone thought they were going to be, right? A lot of points. McDavid's back to
But I bet they go into Madison Square Garden tomorrow night and get their asses kicked by the Rangers.
Well, that's another one. I hate that. It seems that whoever's toured around this area, they lose to the teams.
They
and
can
they
look at their
us.
schedule now and go, well, at least we have New Jersey. We're going to pick 2 up there.
Yeah.
But, the first goal that Connor McDavid scored, you said you saw that one, where he had what seemed like half an hour in front of the net.
Yeah.
Just playing with the puck, and nobody went near him. And, that's just the patience of McDavid and how awesome he is. The second goal was one of the most egregious turnovers I've ever seen, and that was Kevin Ball just giving it to Leon Draisaitl right in front of the net, and he just roofed it. So that one I'm not putting on V. But the third one on that period, I'm totally, that Ryan McLeod second goal, I'm totally putting on Vitek Vanacek. He was so out of position. Even on the McDavid goal, like he was facing, he was looking into the net when the puck went in. Like his back was towards McDavid. Like he got so spun around like the motherfucker was on a tilt-a-wheel, and he's just looking at the back of the net, and he just sees the puck hit it. He tried to throw his arm up all lazily, but he was completely out of position. And then the third goal, his left leg, and even Ray Ferraro was talking about it, his left leg was actually on the outside of the post, hugging the outside of the cage, as opposed to taking an angle away. And McLeod had a whole fucking net to shoot in, and he was just completely fell apart, like crumbled like blue cheese in those 3 goals. And he was playing stellar in the second period. I don't get that. Like, what I understand Edmonton can do that to you. I get that. But again, big timely saves.
I was just going to say, one of the maddening things about V is that he can look absolutely awesome for a stretch at a time, a period at a time. Hell, last year, games at a time. But then the other side of it is just definitely not money, right? Not the money guy. I want to bring this up too, because I don't look at our social media that much, right? Because like I think I've told you before, I try to actually stay off of that as much as possible so that my opinions are mine. I don't get influenced, because some of these guys really do know what they're talking about. I would think half these people could have podcasts. You know what I mean? They're super intelligent. But there's one person, I'm sorry I forgot his name, because I do read his stuff a lot, and he's very intelligent about the Devils. And he's mentioned that on different Devils podcasts and other media outlets that a lot of people are pointing to, Ruff being the problem. And he said, instead of talking about Ruff being the problem, why don't you come up with some solutions? So I don't know if he listens to ours, or if this is just kind of, it's probably a theme going around for everybody, right? We're all talking about kind of the same stuff. But it is a great question, but I'd like to pose that back, like, to the audience. Like, start chiming into us, write us in, and tell us what you think, because you've heard what we think. And it would be really interesting to know if you think it could be, as wild as, hey, you know what, find a trade partner for Timo, even though he's expensive, get another $8 million player, whatever, just, widely speculating. It'd be nice to hear from others who do that too. And maybe it's Tyler, I don't know his name. If you do listen, you write us. Maybe we can get him on the show. Like, he's just very opinionated. Like, I would love to talk to some of these guys.
I mean, totally. As far as like what Dan just texted 2 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, buddy.
Well, we can just start the rant over again.
Well, no, it's good when he pops in. We'll talk about the goalies and get his perspective if he was able to watch the game. I know with the holidays, everybody's so freaking crazy. Yeah. But this was like I do think that right now I'm not 100% sure if I don't know if I would trade Timo. But
no, I
then
know.
again,
it's just a radical
example. But just saying, like, I mean, unless there was somebody like you said, is there another underperforming power forward who gets about $8.5-9 million a year that one team might want to get rid of? I don't know. So and finding a trade partner for him would probably be difficult. The moves. I mean, yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think it can't be one move. I think it's got to be two. It's got to be a goaltender, and I would say, we've been linked to John Gibson since probably November. I say there's got to be, when there's smoke, there's fire. So Fitzgerald is either waiting to pull a deal, can't pull a deal, or is really unsure about pulling the deal. I would say
probably something he doesn't want to give up in the deal.
Yeah, probably, but pull the deal. Pull the deal. Look, unless the mentality is we have these guys locked up long term and we're not going to do anything crazy right now because I believe in this team and I believe that this team, and it might not be this year, like Dan had said, maybe they're saying, look, we overachieved last year. This is where we kind of expect to be, and it's going to be this, that, whatever, if that's how they feel. But if that's how you feel, you don't go out and get Tyler Toffoli. You don't sign Jesper Bratt to a long-term deal. You don't go out and get Timo Meier last year and sign him to a long-term deal. But the one thing you didn't do, when at least I can speak for this podcast, where we were screaming from the rooftops after the playoffs, was go and get a goalie.
Yeah.
And that was you have to get a goalie, and you need a stay-at-home defenseman. You need somebody, maybe you ship off Siegenthaler, maybe we use Brendan Smith in case of emergency. We'll keep him in the glass and we'll crack it if we need him, and he can come and play. But other than that, go up there, do your interviews. You're awesome ambassador to the team. Keep doing that. That's good. I'm fine with that. And I would go get a guy like Chris Tanev. I'd ship out Siegenthaler. I'd ship out Marino. I'd ship out one of them. I'll tell you that right now. I have no problem with that.
Well, you're probably going to have to.
Yeah.
That's probably the top asking price for one of the two.
Yeah, I think you have to do it. What? Answer me this: is whatever you're going to replace Siegenthaler and Marino with, okay? Are you going to? Is that going to hurt you? Are you going to miss something there that you're not going to get with a trade? Like, okay, if we go out and trade John Marino and for Chris Tanev, and he's part of that package, what are we losing from John Marino that we can't get from Chris Tanev? He doesn't score goals. Yes, he presses the offense forward. He pushes the puck forward every chance he gets, but he's not giving us goals. He's not a great assist guy. So we need somebody that's steady on the blue line. Tanev's got him beat there. Like, I don't know what we're missing. As long as you're not getting rid of the three young guys who I think you are untouchable, Hughes, Nemec, and Ball. And look, like we said, they're going to make mistakes, and they made a lot tonight. All three of them did, but the whole fucking team did, like I said. All three of them did, but their net positive is through the roof. Like, that these guys are going to be with this team for a long time, and they're going to be linchpins to that blue line. So, but get rid of anybody else. I don't give a shit at this point. Like, get somebody in that can maybe change the culture of this team, because right now the culture looks like there's a bunch of softies that have no will to go out and beat a team.
This is where your mindset needs to change, right? If you're not thinking like we are, like, it's kind of like the fantasy hockey element, right? Like, you can't think like that. If we were legitimately contending right now, or being a top seed, playing the way that we should, and you're looking to kind of get that piece to maybe help you go over the top for the playoff run, then yeah, you don't want to get rid of your Marinos and your Siegenthalers because you're performing well, and you don't want to break that up, and now you really feel like you're losing something. I think what we're saying is this ain't working. No matter how you look at it, something's wrong with the chemistry and the way these these guys are playing with each other. So this is the time where you do kind of a less popular move. Yeah, like Marino, he was our favorite defenseman last year. Like we all couldn't stop singing praise about Marino. Marino's just having a different year. So in the long run, you don't want to lose talent. You never want to lose. That's our guy. You don't want to lose him now. But if I told you, and you can't predict, of course, well, by trading Marino for a nobody, a no-name, stay-at-home guy, just a chess piece that's going to work, that it's going to help us, turn this shit around. Next thing you know, wouldn't you take it? And that's where, again, to go back to like the Lou days, I mean, he was a master at this is what I need from this line, this pairing, and it works.
Yeah.
You need that blend.
I mean, Lindy's another problem. Now, I don't, like I said, I've said on this show before, I'm not a fan of firing a coach mid-season. I do know that sometimes you have to. I get that. I don't necessarily think that I'm there with Lindy Ruff yet, but I'm really close. That's why I'm saying, like, I think you have to make these moves. If there are moves to be made, they got to be made soon, because you got to give this team a chance. If you really believe they can crawl back into it, you got to give them your fighting chance to crawl back into it. And, I don't know what's going on in the dressing room, but if you make these changes and they're still underperforming, then, if you decided to cut the cord with Lindy, but I don't know what goes on in this dressing room. I don't know what the relationship is with Lindy and the players, Lindy and Tom Fitzgerald. He had no patience for Akira Schmid tonight. The team's not helping him. Like, that's the other thing. Like,
sure.
I was surprised, though, when I first saw that Schmid was in. I thought that Vanacek was going to get the start, especially after how Schmid played the last game.
I thought he was going to get the start, and then they also showed a graphic on his small sample size against Edmonton, which was good, 2-0, like a 1.97, I think, something like that. Obviously, that didn't translate.
Yeah, that got blown up
period of this game. But, yeah, just from a starter standpoint, because Schmid just never looked like he had it. I'm with you, too. Like, I'm still, I'm not a fan of Ruff. I don't feel like he's personally doing much wrong, other than I would personally move a couple of personnel around and kind of keep them there for a little bit. I do believe a lot of it's on the players too at this point.
Yeah.
They just have to reach inside themselves. And I got a big problem with, major professional athletes that, I don't even want to go here because I love our guys. And I think that a lot of them are on very fair contracts because they are trying to win, but they do kind of want that next big payday. And you got it. You got to live up to it. Because if you're not going to live up to, the back of your hockey card, then we could have taken that money. We could have split it in two. And we could have got two pieces that would help this team be a formidable team. Yeah. So it is your responsibility when you accept those types of contracts. You got to play up.
The Andre Palat contract seems very short-sighted right now. And the more that, what's up, Danny?
What is up?
Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
We've been recording for a half hour now.
I figured, why wait to get on that one? That's for sure. Get it over with.
Your audio was...
Are you going to come in and bring all the positivity?
I didn't mean to be negative, but boy, that was rough, dude. That was rough. Yeah, I was bummed.
Well, yeah, I mean, Bobby was being practical and smart, and I was being angry. So, give me your just rundown, of this impotent performance tonight.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's face it. Until the third period, the way they came out, we had a game, and it was a pretty good one. And, to see that kind of implosion with the rapid fire, goals against, it's like we're not getting any better. The first instinct is to go to goaltending. Then you look at the goals, it's a whole team thing, and I don't know what the fix is for this team. I don't know why they collapse the way they do.
That's the theme.
Yeah, it's just it's got to be a Titanic collapse instead of and I don't get it. I don't understand those lapses. It doesn't seem to make sense. They seem very immature and unsettled, and stepped down from where they were.
Yeah, I mean, we all talked a lot about it, but I think the general outcome of it is they're not a good hockey team. It's just that simple. They're not.
They're not that
and they're
good.
not going to the playoffs. Like that's the other thing. Like playoffs
Not
are
like
such
this.
a pipe dream right now. They're not going to the playoffs. It's just there's no. I would be absolutely shocked if this team crawled themselves back in.
I don't know what
I really would.
odds DraftKings is doing right now, but I don't think it's the safest bet to say that the Devils will make the playoffs. I mean, it seems like a long shot. More and more, it just seems like it's just not their year, dude. And it pains you to say it because it's like, why? The personnel is here, the talent is here, but they are not playing that way. So.
No. But I will say about DraftKings, if anybody did take the over, anyone had a huge set of balls today and took the over on Jonas Siegenthaler shots on goal, which was probably 0.5, because you really can't get much lower than that.
Right.
Congratulations, because Siegenthaler got you the goal. But to do that and get in on that half a goal action, you have to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and it says in bold printing you have to do it now.
Do it now.
Do it now. Download the DraftKings. Should I do the whole thing as Arnold?
Yes, please do.
Okay.
Especially
Would have been more exciting.
disclaimers.
Download the app now and use
Have a
code
gambling problem.
THPN. The new customers can get 100. And now I'm just going. I did turn into Pee Wee Herman.
A little bit.
It's $150 instantly. I can't do that. And bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. Can't do any more voices though.
You kind of turned into Marvin Martian when you did your Pee Wee Herman. So
I
you're
can
always
do
like
Marvin
one step
Martian.
ahead of yourself. I like that.
Earth-shattering kaboom.
That's code THPN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours.
There you go. There's Arnold. I love it. I think that's good.
Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available. For problem gambling, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. 999. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Stupid Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after
That's
issuance.
7 days.
It's 7 days. I don't know why they have to put it in hours.
It must be a law somewhere.
But they used to say 7 days. The old ad reads said 7
some
days.
people might wake up. They're like, okay, it's the 7th day. I'm good now, but it's not that hour.
They still have 6 hours left.
Yeah.
168.
Kind of like when they're like, is it your birthday? Be like, well, yeah, but I wasn't born till like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I hate when people do
Yeah.
that. But I don't mind when people tell you what time they're born, but then so it's not your birthday yet. No, fuck
Right.
off, dude.
Yeah,
it's my birthday.
Yeah.
Bonus bets expire 100. I did that already. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2023. All rights reserved.
2023 skidoo.
So, so what's the fix, Dan? What you're general manager, you're watching this team from the press box, and you're just watching it completely implode, and you're not only thinking about how am I going to fix this team, in the back of your head you're thinking, God, I hope I have a job at the end of this season. So what are you going to do?
I'm going to see, kind of like we talked about last week a little bit. Can Lindy shake things up? I'll give him new personnel to the best of my ability. And if I don't like that conversation, where it's going, or his early efforts to do so, then he would be my next move on that. As far as like fixes on the team, we want a goalie. I caught the game on the ESPN feed. I don't know if everybody did. Or
That's
the way I watch it. And, they're talking about, the goalies are a premium this season. Everybody wants a goalie, this and that. We may or may not be able to get the goalie. And I don't want to give up. I told you a lot to get this goalie because I feel like it's more than a goalie away. So if that's the case, I'd rather do what I can through coaching because that's got to change, and if it means Lindy's got a new team around him and that works, awesome. I'd probably be willing to give that a shot. Otherwise, the defenseman, I get it. Everybody, wants Tanev, and that'd be great to get him too. but I just feel like it's more than those two moves. There's something else going on with this team. Maybe I'm underestimating how much, good vibes a big trade will bring your team, but I see huge problems.
It's interesting how you put it, because I would start with those exact two moves you said is what I would do. But like you said, if you honestly do believe that the problems with this team are deeper than those two moves, and that those two moves are not going to move the needle much to get what you need out of this team, if you honestly do believe that, then I do think if you have one of two options after that. The first option is, we're going to play this season out as it is, and we'll reevaluate everything after the season. And if we don't make the playoffs, we're going to learn from it, and we're going to move on, and we'll be back next year, which would be the fucking shittiest attitude to have. And the other way to go about it is to fire Lindy Ruff. If you honestly believe that this is not going to change it, and you need something else more systemic, I think it has to be, you have to fire the coach.
I get that. And like you were saying, Berube's on the market, and that doesn't sound so bad. So it would depend, like, who's out there. I'd be
just as long as he doesn't make Jack Hughes cry, because I don't know if I can handle that.
Right, like I don't know, but maybe a little something with an edge, to force the accountability issue. I don't know. Look, I don't want anybody like Tortorella, but
but he's the kind of guy you kind of feel like this team needs, don't you?
You know what? If I could rent him for a week right now, I might. Just like a week, I don't know what needs to happen, but I feel like Lindy's message is not resonating if it's clear at all.
Get their ass kicked.
And it's just it's these kind of
so
same mistakes.
I like literally. I know we talk about so the goalies are a premium. We all agree you don't want to mortgage too much for what might be a rental, what might not even get us into the playoffs. But I would literally take right now, give me any goalie I can't remember the name of that has a 900 save percentage. Maybe he's retired. I don't know. Just put somebody in the pipes that just maybe has a history of stopping the average shot. You know what I mean? I'm not asking for Dominic Hasek. Just somebody.
But you'll take Dominic Hasek even now at 60 years old.
I would take him right
Dominic
now.
Hasek. I think that if by some chance by next week or something we see Nico Dawes starting a game, I think at that point you can pretty much put the kibosh on us getting a goalie, because if we actually brought him up, I would think that we have tried everything we could to get somebody in, and nothing's working, and it might actually get to that point. And if we start going through fucking goalies like this again, we're not going to,
like 2 years ago.
You're done.
But maybe it's not a bad thing. Listen, coming into this season, you had two guys. You had a veteran, more or less, that was never really a true number one, looking to get a bigger workload. You had Akira Schmid, who looked like, based on last year, he could definitely be the future. You had two guys that were basically saying, hey, we're going to split these guys, but everybody knew one of them could take the reins if they outperformed, especially now, looking at how bad we're doing. If one of them stepped up, you have a starting job. So what would be so bad about getting Dawes up here and saying, hey, if you outplay, you're our starter? I mean, think about it. You got a chance. Every goalie wants that chance, right? There's 32 starting goalie spots.
That would send a message to the locker room, right? That would send a message if Saturday against Detroit you have Nico Dawes in goal. If you're just basically, telling this team, we have no faith in anybody right now, and we're going to put this kid in an AHL contract who 2 years ago, you guys, it was a very bright spot in a really awful season, even though he did not, have the great numbers, man. He played very well.
It was the best of our 82 goalies that year.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's going to remind a lot of the guys of 2 years ago, and that did not work out well.
Right.
That's true.
I mean, is that something that can maybe just light that fire? But I think it's so much deeper than that. It's cultural. There's something broken in this dressing room.
What about Jack?
No leadership.
What did you
Jack
think
tonight?
of him?
He was non-existent. He disappeared.
I thought this was a game that I would expect him to raise his game up. I don't know if something's going on with him, or maybe he had better coverage on him than I kind of was giving it credit for.
He doesn't.
But it just seemed like a real kind of quiet. No, it doesn't.
I don't know if he's battling something injury wise or something, but he definitely does not have the Jack Hughes flair. I mean, he's just kind of a guy out there right now, these last few games.
Yeah, and I would, if he looks at himself in the league and, everybody knows what amazing talent he has, playing against McDavid, I would have expected Jack's, A game. And
he has a history of showing up on the big stage. He does.
Yeah, he does.
He really steps up his game. And now anybody can go into like a little mini funk. He's still an absolutely excellent player.
Of course.
They did show a graphic that was interesting. We knew he wasn't going to sustain it anyway, but like he had like 20 points in the first 9 games and 18 points in the next 20 games. You know what I mean? So
right.
It's not going to, neither one of those should be his benchmark. It's somewhere in between the two, but a lot of that is a couple of games with absolutely nothing going on. But again, I don't take anything away from Jack, but he had not been playing his best couple of games.
It's the whole team. Sure. I mean, it's right. And Jack and Nico and Jack and Nico and Jesper Bratt and Timo Meyer, like these guys are the drivers, right? They all got nice cars and they got to drive these cars, and they're just not. I mean, they're just it's crazy how when it goes bad, it all goes bad. And like I was saying, we were talking a little bit earlier, Dan, like you can't look at teams like Washington and Philadelphia and think that, they're just going to start falling down the standings. Like, you got to worry about yourself. You have a 5-game homestand right before the holidays. Like, every team in the league would say, yes, sign me up. 5 games at home before Christmas break, I'll take it. And we have lost all 3 of them. And each one has seemingly gotten worse, our play. Like
we're back to making huge defensive mistakes. Yeah,
this was horrible. Like this game was just
honestly, the first game in a while where the team defense was complete garbage. Especially it was just really the third period, but still it fell apart.
The Detroit game last week, looking at the schedule, the Detroit game probably scared me the most out of the 4, to be honest with you. And now we're going into it with a 3-game losing streak, with just nothing going right for the team. They can't win at home. It's right before Christmas. They might be checked out. I mean, we can go into Christmas on a 4-game losing streak.
And I'm going to bet that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know why I think that's going to happen? Because we don't have a goalie. We have nobody that can stop the puck. You're not winning many hockey games with somebody so something at that department's got to be done immediately. Like, I'm sorry, but Vanacek and Schmid should not be our only 2 options on Saturday. Like,
it's not working out.
I'm sitting here over the last 10 minutes thinking about this, and I'm like, no, you know what? They have to fucking call Dawes. You have to.
What are you going to do, though, when that doesn't, like, produce the results for you? Like, that's the only thing. Like, then
I know.
I don't know.
It's terrible.
Are you worried about the psyche of the players?
I'm not even against it.
No, I mean,
I wonder if he's worried about the psyche of the rest of the team if they call him up.
A little bit. It kind of just smells like 2 years ago when we were like,
it does
bring
kind
another
of reek
goalie.
Of desperation a little.
Yeah. Well, aren't we?
Yeah,
That's
no,
literally,
I'm not
aren't
saying
we?
it's the wrong move, but I feel like it is just a tough spot. I mean, we had all those years with you never having to worry about the goaltending position, and here we are. Like, it's really been a much bigger issue than I had even thought it might be in the beginning of the season. I knew it had the potential, but
frankly,
boy, did it really blow up.
VTech was supposed to be the breathing room for the kids to develop. He was supposed to give us a few straight solid years. Last year's regular season was great. This year, awful. So now we're bringing, Schmid's getting more starts maybe than you would naturally have, or even entertaining Dawes. If he were doing a more average job and taking, 65% of the workload and performing average, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. But he's not that guy that's going to buy our guys time. So I say bring up Dawes.
Like, that's the thing. Like, we're not looking for a duo to win the Jennings Trophy. We're not looking for a duo to have, both of them have, 908 or better save percentage. We're looking for league fucking average from our 2 goalies. Like,
I want a goalie that says, I just gave up the tying goal and the go-ahead goal. I can't let another one in. This is not going in.
Yeah,
give my team a chance to get one more goal back.
But look, we don't have that. We just don't have it. And look, I'm not going to blame. I would say probably out of the 6 goals I saw, both of Schmid's. I mean, really the second one, I don't put a ton of blame on him. It was Marino's guy. The first goal I put on him. The Vanacek ones, the one that to Draisaitl, I don't put on him. Ball gave it right to him.
Yeah,
But
that was a
the
bad
other two,
giveaway.
the McDavid one where he was just looking into the sixth row when the puck went in, and then the Ryan McLeod one, his second goal of the night, where he was basically behind the net, or at least on the side of the friggin' net. Like, he was completely out of position. Like, I don't get it. Played great the
He
second
didn't look
period.
solid, though. Like even some of the saves he made were a little crazy. But
There are a lot of goals that happen where you'll say you don't blame the goalie on that. That just means you know hockey, you understand the play. That's perfectly fine. And I agree with all that. But then there's also, a goalie that's going to bail you out 1 out of 5 times, maybe change the, dimension of one game in that week. And that's what we're sorely missing. Like,
absolutely. That's where they could make a difference, is stealing the odd game here and there. Because, I don't think too many guys were going to win us a lot more consistently. But,
Right.
It helps. Like, how many games have we played total right now?
31.
Yeah, 31. I would say that if we had even league average goaltending, we might be looking at 4 to 5 more wins where you're coming up with those. I think it's any more than that's kind of unrealistic with the way this team's playing defense. So,
4 or 5
great,
more
but
wins.
that's a
that
long
would be
way.
huge. That's
4 or
a
5
big
more
difference.
wins puts you in the playoffs.
We're in the top
Absolutely,
3.
and that is the difference. If we had a goaltender playing a playoff-bound year, I think we would be there. So I totally get it. We should want that league average goaltending. I just don't know where it's coming from, And it's been a long time. I mean, Vanacek was the best goalie prospect to come to this team in a very long time, and it wasn't even like gold. It was just okay, great. This is looking pretty good after not having any kind of shot with goaltending for a long time.
What if Nico Dawes can play?
I mean, Schmidt's got options, right? He goes down, no problem, right?
I'm pretty sure we can send Schmidt
I think
down
you're right.
without
We're
him
getting to
having
a point
go
we
through
have
waivers.
to see Dawes. I totally see where you're coming from. I'm just nervous about it actually working.
Why, though?
I mean,
Like, what if
I
Dawes
just
came in and just played lights out,
Lights
and
out.
these guys just played great in front of him, and next thing you knew, Dawes was getting the lion's share of starts, and Vitek was backing him up? Why would that you wouldn't be happy with that?
the chance of that is there.
So
So
no.
I'm saying let's take it, definitely. But it's not great. It's not there's so many other problems going on with this team.
Yeah,
And then,
You're
I'm not
you broke up real quick. What did you say? Oh,
The water's coming down the pipe.
okay. Thought he had to sneeze. Oh, he's back.
So in our professional studio, there's a lot of,
Yeah,
there's a lot of drainage pipes
which is under a sewer plant.
from the shitter.
Did you guys hear? My wife just played it for me. Do you guys listen to
wife.
Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend?
No.
I love it. I love Conan.
Did you
I
hear-
feel like he's so much better on radio than he is, or
Absolutely.
whatever podcasting than he is on as an interviewer.
Did you hear the bidet commercial?
I don't believe I did.
Okay, so my wife's driving home from work the other day and calls me up, and she's telling me that she's listening to the show, and he just did an ad read for a bidet company, and it was the funniest thing she's ever heard in her life, right? So I'm like, okay, what episode was it? She tells me what episode it was. I listened to it, and there's no bidet commercial. So I call her up, I'm like, there was no commercial. I listened to it just for that commercial. So I don't know why after I heard it, kind of know that they probably took it off. But then, so she goes online today, and all these people start writing in about, like, she's seeing all these comments about people talking about that bidet commercial, like, funniest thing Conan's ever done, this and that. So she found
That's
the
awesome.
audio of it, and she played it for me. And for 3 minutes, I was crying. It was so fucking funny.
I honestly enjoy their commercials. Now, I didn't hear that one yet, so I'm dying to. But he is like insane, and I really do enjoy him on radio way better than I ever did on TV.
Yeah, and to our listeners, please find the bidet commercial. It is the funniest thing you're going to hear.
Nice.
So, and other than that, Devils suck. What's up with you guys? You all set for Christmas?
I think so. I mean, I got all that last minute shopping
Trying to get
mostly
that wrapping
done.
done.
Yeah, I'm I'd say about 80% done. My wife's just got to wrap a bunch of stuff over the weekend while I'm working. I wrapped a lot, but now I'll be working pretty much right up till Christmas Eve. So
We're doing a wrapping paper painting party at my house tonight while the game was on. We were painting paper bags, and that's how we make wrapping paper in my house now. So that's a
It's
kid's
just
idea.
well, I think I like the idea. I think it's cool.
It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
just paint
Okay.
whatever on
So
it.
I mean,
But it's
I have
something I would have
question.
never thought of.
Do you then like cut the bag open and use it as wrapping
Yes.
paper, or do you just
Yeah.
put stuff in the bag?
No, we cut the
Oh.
bag open and
Good
use
question,
wrapping
though.
paper.
It was right.
It
I
is a
thought it
good
was
question.
valid.
I think there's a few bags with like little handles that she's like using, and painting on those.
shopping
But
bag.
mostly we're making wrapping paper, which
How long were you doing this assembly line? Was it like 8
most
hours?
of the most of the game. Most
Did
of
you
the,
have a lot
the
of people
second and
over,
third
or was it
period?
just your family?
No, it's just me and the kids. The wife watches. Me and at least 3 of the kids were painting.
Okay,
So it's
that's pretty
kind
cool.
of fun. Yeah, that's what we're doing. I like that little shit way better than like rushing around to get presents. It's such a pain. So stressed. Just driving right now is just murder. I mean, I don't know why people drive so much. I mean, I guess I know why everybody's stressed out and in a rush, but and then they're all out there at the same time. It's fucking.
I
hate driving this time
I
of year.
really am the type of guy that loves to do like the small business thing for
Mm-hmm.
Christmas, but I'm having a very Amazon Christmas. I got to tell you, I don't think
just
I
to
went
not
out
go
at
out.
all,
I
dude.
get it.
I just
I get
punched
it.
everything up.
I don't. We do 90% of our stuff from Amazon. We'll start
Yeah.
ordering like September and just.
Well, we're a mile
Yep.
from downtown. We got all these great little shops and stuff, awesome little gifts to buy. But I just, with work, just getting out of the house, Amazon's so easy. I hate feeding the man, but it's easy.
I do
man.
too, but I like to say that I hate that, and I hate big business, which I do, but yet I support it constantly. Like I don't care enough about it to alter my life
Right,
whatsoever.
No, there's a
to
limit
make any kind of
how much-
sacrifice.
There's a financial
it all puts me at an
obligation to your
inconvenience I'm not
family
doing.
too.
What was that?
Yeah,
There's a financial obligation to your family too. You can get something for half the price. I mean,
That's true.
when you're bringing in the money, you got to think about that.
That's
It's
true.
It's a big part of it, definitely.
I got this my newest head shaver. This sucker was $20, man. $20. That's
That's
what it
a
used to cost me
price.
for a haircut, and it works awesome. And then they got the $70 ones, the $80. This was like $20, cheapest shit on it. It can break every 3 months, and I'll still save like $400 on haircuts a year.
Mine was 40, and I like mine so far.
My first
I've only
one
had
was
it for like
60.
3 months. Yeah, I mean, I usually
Busted
go
up.
around because they're always going to break. So I'm
Yeah.
like, spend 40 or 50 bucks. It lasts me a year. I'm happy.
That's why I was skeptical to go 20. It's outperforming the 60.
Wow.
Yeah.
These are problems Stan does not have.
I don't have an electric shaver. I think I did years ago, and now I buzz down the beard about every 3-4 weeks just because it gets.
I don't use
heat.
the electric razor on my face. I only use it on my head. I use a regular
Yeah,
razor
right?
on my face.
Yeah, no, I
me
can't be
too.
bothered to use a razor every day. I hate that. I hate shaving. I only shave just when it starts interfering with food.
Okay.
And then you just bring it down, and I don't want razor burn, so I never bring it all the way down anymore. And just
That's funny. My
do as
kid
little
asked
as
me.
possible.
My kid asked me 2 questions tonight. One was, when are you going to grow a beard again? Which I answered,
right.
probably not, because I hate eating with a beard. And then somewhere in the first period, he also said, should they bring back the Fire Lindy chance? I was like, how do you even know about that?
Wow.
He's
Oh,
very
He's like, maybe
smart.
they should.
You know what? Definitely.
Are we 100%? We started the show like halfway through the third period. Are we 100% there were no Fire Lindy chants tonight?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I don't
There
know
might
what was
have been.
going on.
You know,
I don't know.
I mean, look, man, there's so much blame to go around, but like we
Yes.
said, this is now at a point where Tom Fitzgerald just got to fucking do something. And if there's nothing to be done, then he's got to fucking do something, because you're the GM. You got to, everyone talk. Oh, what a great summer Tom Fitzgerald had. Look at all the guys he got. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah. Look what it got us. It got us,
I know.
about to
There is
be a 500 fucking
absolutely-
team again.
There's absolutely no breathing room in this schedule, the way the teams are around us are all playing. There's
And
one
there
or two
shouldn't be.
teams where Columbus or Montreal, where you can say we should legitimately beat. There is no easy path. The only way this team starts winning is if they find it within themselves to outplay the other teams.
That's it.
Because it's all Boston and Vancouver and Tampa and Dallas, and it's
Nobody's
this is a
handing
good
the
league.
Devils anything.
crazy. Nope.
Nobody's going to hand us a playoff spot. and it's up to them. They got to go out and get it. There are moves, yes, we talk about them all the time, internal moves that can be done, but the bottom line is, and we could talk about goalies and firing coaches and getting defensemen, but if this team doesn't perform better on the ice, and this is all around, this is our main guys, like, then you're not going anywhere. So this falls on everybody.
Yeah. Was Meyer a bright spot tonight if you're looking for one? Which I don't even think this team deserves to be looking for a bright spot right now, but I mean,
so we're losing the game at that point, right? We're down 2-1.
Yeah.
I look at my wife. I'm like, this is a fucking shit show. I'm like, where the hell is Timo? I haven't even fucking heard his name. I haven't even heard his friggin' name today. And then I'm like, oh, wait, there he is. And then he scored, like, on that shift. She's like, just keep talking about Timo. Yeah, that's not going to work.
I mean, he did get a goal, but he wasn't otherwise very noticeable. Mercer looked pretty good on the snipe, but I don't like that line as it's constructed. I thought Bratt actually had his legs and was probably the one guy of the top six that was really kind of flying around.
That hit he made it was in the offensive zone. And Euler had the puck like right between the circles, and he came in and bumped the dude right off of the puck. He didn't go down, but he slid.
He stole the puck, right?
Yeah, and he took the puck away, got a scoring chance right away. That was a really nice play.
I like that.
Yes, but I think he disappeared in the third period. He disappeared halfway through the second period and the third period again. Like, he had a couple of flashes. But all defensemen tonight. I can't think of one defenseman that played good tonight. Like, this was...
And that was a shame because they really had seemed to turn it around. I mean, Nemeth was fitting in great. The team defense as a whole and the defensemen have been better up until this game. That's why this is such a gut punch for me. It's like, man, we just lost all the ground. It wasn't about one more loss. It was really the way they lost. It was like back in the worst possible position with this team. No good defense, no offense to speak of. It doesn't look good.
Yep. Some changes have got to be made. We're not going to get any different results. We're going to be we haven't even won more than 3 games this year in a row.
No.
Like, this team
never
was
thought that.
Yeah. I would have never thought that. Hell, I had them going 8-0 to start the season.
Yeah, you did. Yep.
I was like, who's going to beat these guys? Nobody's going to beat them. Watch them in the preseason. They're lighting it up. They're putting their skates on people's necks and not even giving them a chance to breathe. Yeah. We haven't seen that.
I think
we haven't
the
seen
Devils
that, like,
fan
barely.
base was rightfully deceived here because they just came off of such a good year. Young team. They added what seems like the right components over the summer. You got no reason to be negative. I mean, I think you really got to be crazy thinking that you predicted anything like this. And that's why it's so disappointing. I mean, nobody wants to be wrong but that's not really it. It was just not supposed to go like this. That's for sure.
No. Well, if I'm Tom Fitzgerald, I'm maybe just calling Craig Berube and saying, hey, just wondering if you had plans, maybe we'll go out and grab a beer. I'd like to talk to you about, might have a job opportunity for you. Yeah. Let's talk about it. But
now that long contract that we got Lindy on, what is that like? I mean, do we just take a bath on that or
no? That doesn't go. That we don't take a bath on shit when it comes to the coaches because it doesn't go against the salary cap or nothing. That's ownership.
No, not salary cap, but you know what I mean. Like
ownership beats it.
Yeah,
it don't hurt us. It doesn't hurt the team.
That might be a reason to not do it too, because like if you're Fitzgerald, you want to protect your job. You got to go back and explain why you just gave this guy all this money and canned him before the.
The guy also, is a billionaire, multi-billionaire. So, all right, look, we can maybe get a Stanley Cup, but I gotta, cost us $5 million on paying off Lindy.
I hope he brings that up in the interview. Like, hey, what happened? Listen, you're a fucking billionaire, so why don't you just don't worry about it?
Worry about you write your shit. Yeah. I'm telling you what we need to do.
You hired me to run your fucking team and spend your money. I'm going to spend your money. Hey, man, this is the cost of doing business. This is.
It is. That is professional sports, though. You joke about it, but in all seriousness, it's been done before. Yeah. It is about winning and producing at this level.
That's why it's $50 to park.
That's exactly why it's $50 to park. All right. Well, guys, I want to wrap it up. Unless you guys have anything else you want to discuss tonight.
No. I just hope we have something nice to talk about at the next. I just really, it gets, nobody really likes to sit around and be complaining all the time. But it's facts are facts, dude. How can you
That's
not
it.
complain about the performance of this team? So we feel you, Devils fans.
They could beat
we're in the same
Detroit
boat.
7-0 and play the perfect game, and I'm still going to say pump the brakes because that's 1 win out of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah.
sorry, but I'm
You've
the
been
most
hurt, Bobby. You've been
optimistic
hurt.
guy. I've been hurt.
Yeah.
I'm a Mets
Exactly.
fan. I don't want to deal with this shit.
Yeah,
This is supposed to be my Devils team.
I
but,
think
maybe people think we're wrong. I would love to hear if people think, you know what,
That's-
all is not lost.
A
Tell me
lot
where I'm
do.
wrong.
and
a lot
and,
do.
and you know, yeah, because like, do
They
people
look at the
really
math.
hear?
And the math says we can get in, and I'm that type of fan too.
Well, I want to hear from other fans. Like, are they
But the
kind
eye
of
test.
optimistic about this? Do they think I'm an idiot for saying they're not going to make the playoffs, or you know, they looking at this team saying, you know, same exact things we're saying, or are they saying completely different? Do you think
They
we're
say don't
idiots
trade
by-
anybody.
Let's
No,
just-
we
yes.
got the team. Don't trade.
Let's
You know-
let's go on the vote on that. So, Chris, are you definitely, as of today, you feel like they're not going to make the playoffs?
No, I do
Dan,
not
what
feel
do you
like
think?
they're
As
gonna
of
make
today,
the
what's your
playoffs.
gut come playoff time?
Oh, what a coin flip! But today I'm going to succumb to the negativity. I'm waiting coin flip to no.
I
I will say they will.
Okay, and I will say this: I think that the
1 out of 2
five-game
fuckers is
winning
wrong.
streak or better would, like, that's the minimum it's going to take for me to get this bad taste out of my mouth and actually start believing in this team again, because I have zero faith in them. I just, like, this was
What
the
about 5
stretch.
out of 6? Does it have to be 5 straight wins?
Yeah, 5 in a row.
Shit.
Has to be. I just, you know,
I mean,
this
you're not
was
2
the
and
gonna
3,
stretch.
you're going to worry if it's 2 and 3 or 3 and 2. You're not going to, you know, at the end of the 6, you'll say it's been better, but you're still worried about it.
You
Right,
came
gotcha.
off a great Western road trip. You beat Boston. You whooped up on Columbus. And now you're looking at 5 home games in a row before Christmas. And you dropped all 3 of them.
Our buddy Bill Botch put it perfectly. He said, Devil's bipolar disorder. On his
Yeah,
last
we do
episode.
seem to have
Yeah.
bipolar disorder. But, all right. Well, we're going to be back on Saturday. Tony will be back joining us. These crazy time zone
Christmas
differences
miracle.
screws us
Yeah.
all up. But he'll be back. Bobby, you got a devil you know, so you have it this week. And
Baseball.
forget about the curveball, Ricky. Give him the heater. All right. On that note, wherever you're listening to us, give us a positive review, 5-star rating, subscription, download goes a long way. Help us promote the Uncle Pucker New Jersey Devil podcast. For Bobby and Dan, I'm Chris, and we'll see you when we see you,
Look us out.
which will be Saturday night.
Bye-byes.
Wow, this is a depressed bye-byes. Oh, Bobby.
Oh, what happened?
Bobby needs a hug.
It's over, Johnny.
Yeah, it is.
It's over.
Feels like
It's over. Oh, I should probably stop it. Okay.